There's a lot of weird tanks in Tier 7. Tier 7 is kind of like the cesspool, where Wargaming throws all their weird and wacky projects in. A great example of this was the first vehicle with moving armor, the Titan HND. A vehicle that I actually think looks sick, and would have been a really good Tier 8 if they had balanced it properly, but they made a Tier 7 heavy, as testing grounds for what a line with moving armor would be like. We have the Forest Witch, which literally looks like just an abomination, bruh. The Vulcan, there are so many goofy looking tanks in Tier 7. But the biggest goofball of them all is the Mutant. I mean, it's literally a garbage truck. That's what it's designed off of. But while the tank may look like garbage in reality, it's an absolute blast to play. And what's really is annoying is that I don't know if you're ever going to be able to get your hands on this vehicle again. If Wargaming plans to do another collab with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's possible. But to what I'm aware, this vehicle was only obtainable one time, and that's because of licensing, right? Licensing basically says we're giving you the opportunity to sell something that's not owned to you, and you can sell it one time, and if you sell it again, we're going to sue you. That's kind of how licensing works. Do I think that, TNMT would actually sue Wargaming if they sold this tank again? No. And will they sell this tank again in the future? I have no clue. Wargaming sold the Vindicator and Predator 8 billion times, and those are Warhammer vehicles. I don't know if Wargaming has any ties with Warhammer anymore, so it's possible they could sell them in the future, but to what I've been told, they're not going to be for a very, very long time. The Mutant is a tank that I think is an absolute beast, though. It has 470 damage per shot. It's basically a Tier 7 T-49. So it has 470 damage per shot on the standard, and it actually is AP, which is very rare. Normally, these kind of goofy vehicles, especially the T-49 style, only have heat as their standard ammo. But no, this tank gets AP, heat on the premium, and then high explosive, meaning that you got the whole shebang of ammo to choose from. And while it may not be the most accurate tank, it does hit really hard. That was a 500 damage shell into the enemy Churchill 7. This tank is not very fast either. It's actually one of the most immobile mediums in the tier. We can see the mobility here. It's not that fast. But at the end of the day, you don't need mobility as long as you go upwards of like 50, which this tank does. Because this thing just chunks. 470 damage per shot is a huge amount. And it really does make this thing feel so fun to mess around with. So, what do we have going on here? Well, we got the enemy AT-7, and there you go. 409 clear into his tank. What you'll notice is that it's actually not an inaccurate tank. Like, it's not good on accuracy, but compare it to a T-49, and it's miles ahead. And by the way, this Sherman Firefly, well, this player was fairly healthy, and that was a one-shot for my average damage. Again, like, that's kind of crazy when you actually think about it. Now, I don't want to be shot by the Titan, so we're just going to chill here for a moment and reload. Our reload is obviously quite long, but it's understandable when you can outtrade heavy tanks. We are already up to 1800 damage with just 4 shells penned. And in 5 seconds, we'll have another shell ready. Our AMX-13M24 gets the clear on the Sherman Firefly, and we are going to make our way over to... There it is, the Panzer IV-S. And bonk, 588. That's an insane chunk. Do I think this vehicle is as overpowered as a Smasher or an Annihilator? No, it's not. But I would say that this is still actually a really strong vehicle, and it's why I have such a blast playing in it. Like, watch this Titan, right? Look at that. 412 AP right into his tank, and then we just back up. Bro has no clue what to do. We are already up to 2800. I'm just praying that our AMX pens him once. Well, he killed the Churchill, which I guess is better than nothing, but I would have liked if he would have helped a little bit more there. But we'll load a gold shell into the lower plate of the Titan, and we outtrade him 2-1 anyway, so we're up to 3,300 damage now. We reload, and I'm hoping that our AMX gets the clear. We have the Blaze flanking all the way wide. 3, a 2, a 1, and you gonna poke it, you goober? You gonna poke it? No? I'll wait. I got nothing but time. We obviously know where the SMV is. And if that's the case, come over here, Blaze. Come over here. Bonk! Easy clear. And we back up. Well, just like that, we have done a pretty good job this game. The AMX is going to push the SMV, and we're going to chill right here. What are you going to do, SMV? Well, you're going to get a heat shell in the lower plate for 313. And, yeah, that was a 4,000 damage victory, putting me, obviously, top on the team, and not only that, but, it was just a blast. This is why I really like the Mutant, because, yeah, it might be really ugly, but the fact that you have mobility with a super high alpha, and it doesn't have that derpy feeling of a T-49 makes it just so fun, especially because I literally just recorded a video on the T-49, so I figured why not make a video on my favorite tank of them all. So there you go, 3,800 damage. Not only that, we aced the vehicle, earned over 100,000 credits, and did 3 times the next highest on the team. This thing is so goofy. How many games have I played on it? Well, I have played in total 25 battles, and I'm sitting at a whopping 80% win rate. That's pretty good, actually, especially for, again, a vehicle that is supposed to be designed after a garbage truck. So, yeah, our first game was a solid one. Now, this tank does not have the best characteristics everywhere. It doesn't have a lot of heat pen, meaning that if you do fight tier 8s, especially heavily armored tier 8s, you're going to struggle. I mean, we saw just in that game, even fighting equal tier tanks like the SMV, I had to load gold to pen that thing's lower plate, which is kind of crazy. So there are definitely, advantages and disadvantages to playing a tank with high alpha. Usually the higher the alpha you go, the less pen you have in lower tiers. You know, the T-49 doesn't even really get premium rounds, and the KV-2 as well doesn't have very good pen. But what's interesting to me is that the Smasher gains damage and has heat, which has 280 mils of pen. It's a little weird. I really just, woof, I don't understand Wargaming ever. It's hard for me to ever understand what goes through Wargaming's mind when they say, let's buff all tanks that fire heat every single tier, because that's what the Smasher needed. An additional 10 mils of premium pen. It wasn't good enough. I'm back. I was about to get a cup of water, but then I heard the game loading, so we're back and we're ready to go. What do we have up against us? A VK30-01P and a T-34-1, a Comet. I mean, this is a pretty good matchup, and, I mean, as you can see, the mobility on this tank is not good, but it's not, like, awful either. You can, get up to speed, which is 45 kilometers per hour, but it's still quicker than a Smasher, it's still quicker than an Annihilator, and, for example, this T-34-1 is now down 467 health. So, you shot me for 250, I shot you back for another 200. Who's the real winner here? Me. I am. Well, we reload again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, a Comet with its measly 160 damage per shot. Minus 500. Because you have to remember, the Smasher and Annihilator are mainly fighting heavies, right? This thing is actually fighting mediums, which means that the damage per shot gets a lot further for you. Okay, well that was just... my reload was longer than I wanted it to be. Not only that, but we might get shot in the crossing again. We did! Whoa! Well then, we are now a whopping 40 health, which is not, well, not ideal. The T-34, also not ideal. I don't know what bro thought he was going to accomplish there, but he tried his darndest best. Well, I've got 2 full health tanks camping behind me. Incredible work from my team. Very, very supportive, as usual. We're aiming on the Comet, and there you go. 422 shot into his vehicle. So even though I may only have 30 health, or whatever, 40 health, we're still getting pretty good shots out. And our team actually got the clear. Our Blaze did, at least. Somebody on the team's doing some help for me. We have the SU-152, and aiming, bonk, 474. That puts us up to 2,200 damage now. That's the great thing, when you're low health, it doesn't really matter in a vehicle like this, because you out-trade everything you shoot anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. We know that they have a VK-30, who was sitting over here, but I'm not going to be the one to push. We got a full health Blaze, and it's not that challenging to do something, but I guess it is, right? It must be very challenging to help your teammates. Oh well. I'm surprised I'm not dead, to be entirely honest. I just needed to leave. My one shot on the Comet was my fault. I didn't realize my reload was going to drag on as long as it did, so I just kind of spammed the fire button, and then it was too late by the time It happened. Oh well. I continue to wait here. We have the enemy M7Yo, who I'm... Wow, gonna hit in the hatch for 433. Well, Jay Willikers, that was a lucky shot. Gosh darn it. Alright, let's reload again. We got an M7Yo once again over here. And hello, Mr. Yo, how are you doing? Bonk. Oh, Sage. Big Sage. Alright, well, back to reloading. Obviously, this tank does not feature the most effective damage per minute, and neither does it have good turret armor, so we gotta be very careful when poking our opponents here. We do have the Yo, and I'm gonna chill right here. Bonk! Goodbye, SU-152. You're not gonna shoot me, Yo. As much as you want, you're not getting that shell out. Well, we're still alive. We're doing pretty good so far. And, well, we reload. We aim in on the M7 Yo. Not able to hit him yet. Is he going to be able to get the clear on my teammate? Well. Ooh, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yes. No. Oh, we got to back up. We got to back up. I don't want to be stuck in a situation where this doesn't work out well for me. Also, bro, what are you doing in the blaze? Like, what are we doing? The answer is nothing. Did he go AFK? Like, I'm so confused on what my teammate's doing. Because right now, to me, it looks like I have to fight this VK, low roll him, and then die. We did 3,300 to be fair, which is pretty good, but like, what are we doing, bro? If you had just simply killed that VK-30, probably would have been a win. But instead, you were too scared to poke a tank. That's a tier lower with half your alpha, and even less damage per minute. It's tier 7 teams. I'm not going to get mad, but it's always very disappointing to play a game and just, you know, watch disappointment unveil in front of you. Well, I doubt we'll win this, but I will be back with the post-game results. Well, unsurprisingly, this game was a loss. We did pretty good, though, 3,300. Unfortunately, I bled a lot of health early game, which was on me. I bled a lot more than I should have. I probably should have just stayed where I was originally, and I would have been fine, but oh well. I make mistakes sometimes, and that was definitely on me. But we still ended up dealing 3,300 damage, which was double the next highest on the team, so while I may have bled some health, I still can't really be the reason that team was an unfortunate defeat. As I said, if that Blaze had simply just killed the VK, then I probably would have been fine to deal with that M7 Yo, but when I have a VK flanking me, there's just nothing I can do about it. But the Mutant is a super fun tank, and you can see why. It has a solid gun, and it's just a blast. Like, it's surprisingly accurate. Well, the DPM isn't anything impressive. It's not bad at 1,700. It's alright for the tier. And I have a very, very enjoyable experience when using this vehicle. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And as always, please consider smashing that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!